A prestressed concrete beam, prestressed concrete beam provided with tendon provided with parabolic profile tendon, the total external load the total external load on beam is the 35 kilonewton per meter. Full stop. Calculate the extreme stresses. Calculate the extreme stresses for the midspan section. For the midspan section, the tendon carries the tendon carries a pre-stressing force a pre-stressing force of 1200 kilonewton. Okay, this is the given numerical. Diagram is also given, so I will draw the diagram first. This is the beam. The span of beam is 6 meter. Okay, so this is the span. This is given to us as a 6 meter. Then neutral axis I will draw first. So this is our neutral axis. Okay, then a tendon with parabolic profile is given. Beam carries a external load, that is this UDL. Okay, now it is carrying UDL, it doesn't carry the point load. Normally for point load bent tendon is provided, and for UDL a parabolic profile tendon is provided. So 35 kilonewton per meter. Then the parabolic tendon, I have not drawn correctly, but you can understand this is the parabolic tendon, and the stressing force at this tendon here, this stressing force, it is given as 1200 kilonewton. This is our given data. Okay, and the cross section is 400 by 600. Okay, I will not draw the cross section, it is given in the numerical, so I will just write here cross section, it is 400 mm by 600 mm. So this is the cross section of the given beam. Now we want to solve this problem. So first of all we will calculate the area of the beam. Okay, so area A is equal to what? It is 400 into 600. Okay, so it is near about 240 into 10 raised to 3 mm square. Please check the calculations. Then we will calculate Z. You know that it is a rectangular section, so BD square by 6. But see, if it is not a rectangular section, then you need to calculate Z. Okay, it is rectangular section, so that we are calculating it is directly BD square by 6. The original formula to calculate Z is I by Y, where I is the moment of inertia and Y is the distance of extreme fiber from centroidal axis. Okay, So if it is not and see, this section is symmetrical, whatever distance is there from neutral axis of the topmost fiber, same distance is there at the bottom. That is why our z value is constant at top. Whatever is the value of z, same value is there at the bottom. So please note these points. So now it is BD square by 6. So again 400 into 600 square by 6. So it is comes out to be 24 into 10 raised to 6 mm cube. So this is the value of z. Okay. Then now we will see eccentricity is also given to us in the problem. Okay, I forgot to show here. So eccentricity, this is given as 100 mm. 100 mm is the eccentricity. So now we know that downward load. So this is our we consider this is our live load as it is external load. Okay, and dead load is self weight of the beam. So now this load, it is 35 kilonewton per meter, is already known to us. So downward load I will write here. Downward load which is equal to how much it is, 35 kilonewton per meter. Okay. Now we will calculate the upward load due to parabolic profile. Okay, up till now we have calculated upward load due to bent tendon, bent profile. Okay, that is 2p sin theta. But now the tendon is parabolic. Okay, so I have told you yesterday how to calculate that upward load. So it is WC is equal to, what is the formula? 8PE divided by L square. This is the formula. So which is equal to 8 into P is 1200 into E. Eccentricity is 100 mm. Okay, so 100 mm means it is 100 into 10 raised to minus 3 in meter, and L square span is given as 6. So 6 square. So if you do this calculation, you will get the upward load. Okay. So what is the upward load now? It's out to be 26.66 kilonewton per meter. Okay. So this is our upward load. So we will calculate now net load. So what is our net downward load now? Net downward load is 35 minus 26.66, which is equal to how much it is, 8.33 kilonewton per meter. This is our net downward load. Okay, net downward load. So this is our net downward live load. So now we will calculate the moment. So bending moment due to live load. So I will directly write here ml. So now see here, our tendon is now parabolic. Okay, so we have tendon is parabolic, first thing, and second thing is now the load acting. If you see, the acting load is UDL. In previous problem, point load was given to us, so we have used the formula WAB by L. Now UDL is given, so for UDL, what is the formula? Formula is WL square by 8. So that formula we will use to calculate the bending moment. So it is WL square by 8. So W is 8.33 into 6 square divided by 8. So solve it now. Into 6 square. So the answer is 37.48 kilonewton meter. Please check the calculations. Okay, 37.48 kilonewton per meter. This is the bending moment due to live load. After calculating the bending moment due to live load, that is external load, we will calculate the bending stress. Okay. We will calculate the bending stress. So to calculate the bending stress, so now see, this load is moving downward. So the bending will be bending of beam will be sagging bending. So compression is at top and tension is at bottom. So plus minus it is ml by z. So it is plus minus. What is the value of ml? ml is 37.48 into 10 to the power 6. It is in Newton mm divided by 24 into 10 to the power 6. So what is the answer? It is 1.56 plus minus 1.56 Newton per mm square, that is megapascal. Okay, so this is the bending stress due to live load. So now similarly we will calculate dead load. We will calculate bending moment due to dead load. So now dead load calculation. So dead load, that is the self weight of the beam. Dead load DL is equal to, we know the cross sectional dimension, so we will assume 1 meter span. Per meter we will calculate the dead load. So it is 0.4 into 0.6 into 25. So this works out to be, how much it is, 0.4 into 0.6 into 25. It is 6 kilonewton per meter. Okay, 6 kilonewton per meter. This is the dead load. Now calculate the bending moment due to dead load. So the bending moment of dead load, that is MD. It is again UDL. Dead load is always UDL. So WL square by 8. So which is equal to, W is 6. This is also 6 divided by 8. So 6 into 6 square by 8. That is 27. 27 kilonewton meter. Now we will calculate the bending stress. So the bending stress due to dead load is equal to, what is the formula, plus minus md by z. Why it is plus minus? Because dead load is acting downward and it will bend the beam in sagging profile. Okay, so sagging is there, so at top compression is there, at bottom tension is there. So plus minus, it is 27 into 10 raised to 6 divided by 24 into 10 raised to 6. So you will get the answer as 1.125 plus minus 1.125 megapascal, that is Newton per mm square. This is the bending stress due to dead load. Now live load bending stress we have calculated, dead load bending stress we have calculated. Then now we are going to calculate the direct stress. Okay, so direct stress, so we need to calculate the direct stress now. So direct stress, you know the formula, it is P by A. So to calculate the direct stress, so direct stress sigma 0, which is equal to, actually it should be P cos theta divided by A, but you know that as theta is very small, theta tends to 0 and cos of 0 is 1. That is why it becomes P by A. Okay, so it is P by A, and compressive stress, so it is always plus, which is equal to, your value of P is 1200 into 10 to the power 3 divided by your area 240 into 10 raised to 3. So the answer is, it is 5 plus 5 megapascal. Okay. Now we will calculate the stress at top. So resultant stresses, now we will calculate the resultant stresses. So the resultant stresses at top. So sigma t resultant stress at top, it is P by A plus md by z plus ml by z, which is equal to 5 plus 5 plus 1.56 and 1.125, 1.125 plus 1.56. So you will get the final answer over here, and sigma bottom is equal to P by A minus md by z minus ml by z, which is equal to 5 minus 1.125 minus 1.56. So calculate the answer. 68, 7.68 Newton per mm square, and then 5 minus 1.125 minus 1.56, so 2.315 or 2.32. Now you can draw the diagram. So first draw this diagram of direct stress, that is rectangular diagram. Then bending stress md by z plus is there, so from baseline on the right hand side it is plus, you should plot, and at bottom on left hand side, and that diagram will be there. Similar diagram is for there for live load, and after now these both the values are plus, so you can draw the resultant diagram. You can draw the baseline, okay, vertical line, and then plot both the values to the right hand side. Okay, one value is greater, another is lesser, but both are positive values, so that will be your final diagram. So this is what is the load balancing concept. Now we will move forward from this to the strength concept. Okay, so let us understand what is the strength concept. So here I will draw one beam, okay, then neutral axis. So this is the neutral axis. Okay, so this is the neutral axis. I will give name to this so that you will not confuse while I am explaining the concept. So this is the neutral axis. Now suppose a tendon is placed over here. Tendon is placed over at this point, and your force, stressing force is acting like this. Okay, so this is your stressing force P. Now this is your eccentricity E. From the neutral axis or centroidal axis we always calculate the eccentricity. So this line of tendon, now where the stressing force is acting in strength concept. Okay, so this is your strength concept. So in the strength concept, this stressing force is acting on the tendon. Okay, not only in strength concept, in stressing force is generally be applied on the tendon. So now this tendon, this is called as P line. Okay, listen carefully. This is called as P line. Why it is called as P line? Stressing force is there on this tendon, so this line is called as P line. Okay, and there is one more imaginary line. We will see one imaginary line. That imaginary line is called as C line. Okay, and suppose now that imaginary line right now it is at this point. I will draw that line. See here, I will draw here one line. and this line, this is called as C line. Okay, C line. This is imaginary line. Its position may be above the neutral, above the P line or below the P line. We don't know how to calculate that. That we will see in the numerical. What to do? Just now understood the concept. What is the concept? So this line is called as P line, and the imaginary line, this line, it is called as C line. Okay, this imaginary line, it is called as C line. So now the distance between P these two lines, the distance between these two lines, P line and C line, it is called as shift. It is called as shift, and it is denoted by letter A. It is called as shift, and it is denoted by letter A. And the distance between this C line and the neutral axis, it exists. This is the tendon. Okay, so I will write here. This is imaginary line. Imaginary line. Now the distance between this C line and P line, this distance, this is called as shift. It is denoted by letter A. Shift means what is the distance between C line and P line. Okay, this is called as shift. Then usual notations, you know that from neutral axis, whatever is the distance of this P line, this is called as eccentricity. This is now what we have seen in stress concept and load balancing concept. And now if you do A minus E, then you will get one new distance, that is the distance of this C line from the centroidal axis, and it is denoted by letter E dash. It is denoted by letter E dash. Okay, so now this shift, it is calculated as A is equal to M upon P. So what is A? A is nothing but it is shift. M is nothing but the moment, and P is nothing but the prestressing force. P is nothing but the prestressing force. Okay, so in this way this shift is calculated. Then E dash, you know that A is equal to E dash. If I want to calculate this eccentricity of this C line from the centroidal axis, E dash is nothing but it is eccentricity of which line? C line. C line is the imaginary line. And what does C line represents? C line represents the force in the concrete. And this is the P line. This is the tendon line. This is the actual line where you have placed your steel, that is bars. Okay. And E is the eccentricity of this P line from centroidal axis, and E dash is the eccentricity of C line from centroidal axis, or you can say that neutral axis. E is the what? Eccentricity of P line from neutral axis, and A is shift, that I have already told you. So E dash is equal to, what will be the formula? A minus E. Okay. E dash is equal to, the formula is A minus E. Okay. So now see that this line, I will write this formula here somewhere. Here I will write. So E dash is equal to, it is nothing but A minus E. Now here if you see the force, whatever may be the prestressing force acting in the tendon, this prestressing force is there in the tendon, which represents the force in steel. Same force is experienced by the concrete, and it is represented by C line. So here if I draw the force, then I can draw it like this. This is the force. Okay, and it is denoted by letter C. It is denoted by letter C. Okay, this is the, and now if you see, if this C line is above the neutral axis, this C line is above the neutral axis, and now if I rotate this C force above the neutral axis, Then what is the direction of rotation? Then the direction of rotation is like this. It will towards neutral axis. It will rotate like this. It will try to, if you take the moment. Okay. And now if you see, it will try to bend the neutral axis down. So if we draw the bending profile, okay, the bending profile will be like this, sagging. Okay. This type of bending profile will be there. Okay. This is the sagging bending profile. So here compression is at top and tension is at bottom, plus C, and here minus minus. So if I want to calculate the resultant stresses and top and bottom at this point, now those resultant stresses are, I will write over here. If I want to calculate the resultant stress at top, so sigma T is equal to, it is C by A, as C is equal to P, whatever may be the value of P, same value we are going to take for C. C by A is always plus. In stress concept and load balancing concept, we are using the term P by A. Here in strength concept, for direct compressive stress, we will use the term C by A. Okay, C by A, and here it is M by Z. Okay, M by Z, where M is the total moment. It consists of dead load, live load, any other load, whatever may be the acting on the people. M by Z. Now it is acting at top. So at top compression is there. So it is C by A plus M by Z, C by A plus M by Z, and where this M is calculated as, C E dash. Okay, in previous, what we can say, stress concept and load balancing concept, stress concept we take PE by Z, that is the eccentricity, but here we are taking that CE dash by Z. Okay, CE dash by Z, this is the stress at top, and if you want to calculate the stress at bottom, then it is plus C by A. At bottom tension is there, so minus CE dash by Z, minus CE dash by Z. Okay, so this is how we are going to calculate the resultant stresses when your C line is above the P line. But okay, so above the neutral axis, not above the P line, when your C line is above the neutral axis. But when your C line is below the neutral axis, this sign convention gets changed. Okay, see here, your C line is now above the neutral axis. That is why when you rotate these forces above the centroidal axis, it will cause the bending profile like sagging bending. So your compression is at top and your tension is at bottom. So your top resultant stress, where this term becomes positive. Why? Because compression is at top and tension is at bottom. So therefore this term becomes negative at the bottom. But now if the case is like this, here your C line is above the neutral axis. But if now the second case, I will tell you. Now again, if we draw the same diagram, this is our neutral axis, this is the neutral axis. Now see, this is your P line. Suppose this is your P line. I will show the forces also. This is P line. P is the force, tendon line is there, P line, this is actually exists. Okay, and now suppose the position of the C line, that is our imaginary line, is somewhere here, suppose now, and this line is our, this is C line. Now in this case what will happen, C line represents the compressive force in the concrete, C line represents the force in the concrete, P line represents the force in the steel. We say that whatever is the force in the steel, same is the force in the concrete. Okay, now what will happen, you see here, this is your A. Okay, the distance between C line and P line, this is your shift. What is your eccentricity? The distance from the neutral axis to this line, the P line, this is your eccentricity E, and this is your E dash value, the distance of C line from the neutral axis. This is your E dash value. Now in this case, if I draw the force in the concrete, if I draw, it will be like this. Okay, see. And now if you rotate it about the neutral axis, now if you rotate it about the neutral axis, then the direction of rotation is like this. Then the direction of rotation is in this. Now what will happen? It will try to uplift this neutral axis. Okay, so the beam will bend in this direction. Okay, it will bend in this direction. This is the profile, bending profile. Okay, this is the bending profile. Now what will happen? Here you can say that your tension is at top, okay, and compression is at bottom. So at top it will become minus and bottom it will become plus. Now we know that our direct stress is C by A, and the stress due to this shift, it is C dash by Z. So we can calculate this as sigma T at top and sigma B at bottom. So sigma T will be C by A, it is always plus. Okay, here also I will write C by A, it is always plus. The next term is C E dash by Z. Here it is also C E dash by Z. Now the profile you can see, this is the hogging profile. Tension is at top, so at top it is minus, at bottom it is plus. So at top it will become minus, at bottom it will become plus. Okay, so in this way now we are going to find out the forces which are produced in the beam, that is the resultant stresses at top and bottom, by using the strength concept. Okay, by using the strength concept. Now for the strength concept, I will see one example is there based on this strength concept, so that we can solve that example. Okay. So for the strength concept, we'll take, I'm looking for a simple example so that you will understand this, and then we will take the combined examples, okay, which is having all the methods. So pre-stressed concrete beam, whatever example we have already solved, that example we will take so that we can verify the answers. Okay. Is there any example with you which we have already taken, or yes, it is now there. A pre-stressed concrete beam, it is 400 mm by 600 mm. Okay, so I will write the given data first. Here I will write directly the cross section of the beam. It is given as 400 mm by 600 mm. Okay, then the beam carries a live load of, or external load You can say this as an external load. It is 180 kilonewton at at center. Okay, I am writing here the given data at center. Okay, and the beam is provided with bent tendon. Okay, so tendon profile is bent tendon is provided. Here it is not parabolic, bent tendon is provided. Okay. Uh, and it is not 180, it is 200. It is 200 kilonewton. Okay. And the effective pre-stressing force P is given to us. It is 1500 kilonewton. This is the value of P, 1500 kilonewton. And then span, I will draw the diagram so that you will get other details. So this is our beam. Here it is the neutral axis. Neutral axis. And now I will draw the tendon profile. So this type of tendon is provided. Okay. So now your pre-stressing force, this value it is given as 1500 kilonewton, 1500 kilonewton. External load, which is point load, here it is acting, it is 200 kilonewton. Then the span of the beam, this total span, it is 8 meter, it is 8 meter, and this eccentricity is given to us. This is 140 mm. The value of E is 140 mm. Okay. So now we are going to solve this numerical by strength concept, and we will see what we will get. Okay. Now your tendon line is the P line. Okay, here we will imagine that our P line is at this level, at this eccentricity, and this is the P line. Okay, here our P line is situated. Now we want to calculate the position of the C line. Okay, so to calculate the position of the C line, our formula for shift is A is equal to M upon. So first of all, we need to calculate the bending moment. Okay, what is the bending moment that we need to calculate? See here, what I will do now. First of all, I know that shift A, I can calculate the shift A. A means what? A is the shift. Shift means what? It is the distance between. It is the distance between what? C line and P line. Okay, this is the shift. So that I want to calculate. So what is the formula for shift? It is M upon P, where M is the moment, P is the pre-stressing force. The value of pre-stressing force is known to me. Okay, I know the value of pre-stressing force, but I don't know the value of M right now. So I will calculate what is the total bending moment. Okay, so now here you can see this external load, that is live load, is acting, plus cross section dimension is given. So dead load is also there. So we have to calculate the total moment now. So here first I will take moment due to dead load. Okay, before going to the moment due to dead load, we have to calculate dead load first. Okay, so dead load on beam. So what is the dead load? It is zero point 0.4 into 0.6. Assume 1 meter length, so we will get UDL in kilonewton per meter. 0.4 into 0.6 into 25. So it is 6 kilonewton per meter. This is 6 kilonewton per meter. Now moment due to dead load. Moment due to dead load, I will write here directly MD. So what is the moment? It is UDL, so WL square by 8. So W is 6, L is 8 divided by 8. So what is the answer? Here it is 6 into 8 square divided by 8. It is 48 kilonewton meter. It is 48 kilonewton meter. Also we know that this point load is acting at the center. Okay, so this meter, this distance and this remaining distance from here, both are same. Okay, so both are 3 meter. Here 3 meter, here also it is 3 meter. So now we will calculate the moment due to external load, that is live load. So moment due to live load, I will directly write ML. So it is WAB by L. This is the formula. So it is 200 into 3 into 3 divided, sorry, it is not 3, 4 meter is the span now. 4 meter is the span, so sorry, 8 meter is the span, so this will become 4. It is not 3. 4 meter, and this is also 4 meter. Here I will make the changes. So it is 4 and 4 and total span is 8, WAB by L. As it is a point load, 200 into 4 into 4 divided by 8. So it is 400 kilonewton meter. It is 400 kilonewton meter. So now these two loads are only acting on the beam. There is no any other third load. Okay. So I will calculate the total moment. Total moment M is equal to, total moment M is equal to, it is 48 plus 400. So it is 448 kilonewton meter. This is the total moment. Now we will calculate the shift. Shift A is equal to, total moment is 448 kilonewton meter, so into 10 raised to 6 divided by, what is our pre-stressing force? P, 1500 into 10 to the power 3. So if you calculate this, you will get the distance of C line from P line. So it is 448 into 10 raised to 6 divided by, so it is 298.67. It is 298.67 mm. Okay. Now how to draw the line? See here now. Now this is very important. See, first I will draw here the neutral axis. Now I will not draw the beam. I will just show you the levels. So this is our neutral axis. This is the neutral axis. So where is the P line situated from neutral axis? What is this eccentricity? If you see over here, look at the center. What is the eccentricity? 140 mm. So the eccentricity of P line is 140 mm. Okay. So I will draw here the P line first. Its eccentricity. So I will draw here the P line. So this is P line. This is your P line. And what is the distance? This is 140 mm. 140. Okay. And from the neutral axis, if you see the dimensions of the beam, then here you can see that the depth of the beam is 600. The depth of the beam is 600. So from neutral axis, your topmost fiber is at a distance of 300 mm. Your bottom fiber is also at a distance of 300 mm. So now that border also we will draw in terms of distance. So here at the topmost fiber, what is the distance of this topmost fiber? It is 300 mm. And if I see the fiber at the bottom, this is 140. So below this, here somewhere we get this level 300 mm. बरोबर आहे ना. हे एवढं 140 आहे. 300 म्हणजे 140 च्या खाली जाणार आहे बीम. ही तुमची बीमची बॉर्डर आहे. बीमची बॉर्डर. So here your topmost fiber is there. Here your beam's topmost fiber is situated at this end and your bottom fiber is here at this end. Okay, so for your what we can say understanding, I will draw those lines also. uh, for beam, see, this is the level. Here this is the top fiber of beam. Okay, this is top fiber of beam, that is the topmost end, and this is the bottom fiber of beam. Okay, bottom fiber of beam. So now if you see the distance, what is the distance of if you calculate this bottom distance, how much it is? If this total is 300 from neutral axis, this is 300, this is 140, so this remaining distance will be 160 mm. Okay, so from P line, you can see over here, from P line your bottom of the beam is at a distance of 160 mm. Is it clear? Now if you look at the shift, the distance of shift is 298.67 mm. Okay, but at the bottom the distance is 160 mm, so your shift should not be at the bottom because your distance is greater. कारण 298 जर इथून तुम्ही खाली घ्यायला गेलात तर तुम्ही बीमच्या बाहेर जाताल, त्यामुळे तिथे तुमची सी लाईन नसणारच आहे. म्हणजेच तुमची सी लाईन कुठे असायला पाहिजे? सो इफ आय मेजर द डिस्टन्स, if I measure the distance from this P line, okay, up to the distance of up to here it is 140 and it is above 140. It is above 140. It will be somewhere here. I can see. So this is my distance of 298.67 mm, and at this point now our C line is situated here. At this point now our C line is there. Okay, so this is your C line. Hope you understand how we have find out the position of C line. If you are having any problem, you can ask me. C line. Okay, is it clear now how we have find out the position? Why we have taken it here upward? This is the distance because 298 I can measure from on upward side. बघा इथून मी डाऊनवर्डला माझ्याकडे 160 आहे, म्हणजे माझी सी लाईन जी आहे ती खाली नसणारच आहे, कारण ह्याच्या पुढे बीमच एंड होती. म्हणजे सी लाईन माझी कुठे असायला पाहिजे? वरच्याच साईडला असायला पाहिजे. आणि ती किती डिस्टन्सला असायला पाहिजे? पी लाईन पासून 298.67, म्हणजे सी लाईन इथे येणार, वर येणार. ओके, so now the distance, see, I will write, this is 140 mm, this is nothing but your eccentricity E. Okay, this is the distance between C line and P line, this is A. Now I want to calculate the value of E dash. So what is the value of E dash now? So E dash will be the distance of the C line from the neutral axis. So this is my value of E dash. This is my value of E dash, and what is that value? So E dash I can calculate it as 298.67, okay, minus 140. So the value of E dash will be, so it is very simple, this total is 298 minus this 140, then we will get this distance. So it will be minus 140. If you do from 298, it is 158.66. This is 158.66. So our E dash value is 158.66. Now again, if you see your C force, okay, where is the C force acting? So this is the direction of the C force. Here your C force will be there. Okay, here your C force will be there. Now again, as I have explained you earlier, if you rotate this C force towards the neutral axis, if you rotate it towards the neutral axis, then it will try to bend down the neutral axis. So means sagging profile will be there, and if sagging is there, then compression is at top and tension is at bottom. plus sign is at top, at bottom minus sign will be there. Okay, here you can see in this type of condition, first case. So when your C line is above the neutral axis, then your C by A plus C dash by Z, it is at top. Okay, so here our formula, now I will implement it. So here we will get directly the stress. So the resultant stress at top, resultant stress, stresses. So now at top, sigma T is equal to, it is C by A plus C E dash by Z, which is equal to, C is C equal to P, stress force, divided by A, area of cross section 400 into 600, plus C 1500 into 10 to the power 3 into E dash. The value of E dash we have calculated, it is 158.66. It is 158.66 divided by Z, it is 24 into 10 to the power 6. आता पाठ झाला असेल 400 by 600 ची बीम असली की Z ची व्हॅल्यू किती असणार आहे 24 into 10 raised to 6. Okay, so now this is our stress at top, sigma T. So if you solve this, you will get this stress at top. Okay, so what will be the stress? Calculate now. Is 16.16. Okay, Newton per mm square at top, and at bottom sigma B is equal to, it is now C by A minus C E dash by Z, which is equal to 1500 into 10 raised to 3 divided by 400 by 600. This is our area of cross section. Now minus this term as it is. Okay. And let me know the answer. What is the stress at bottom? So sigma B is equal to, it is minus 3.66. It is minus 3.66 Newton per mm square. Okay. So these are the answers. At top this is the stress, at bottom this is the stress. Okay, at top and bottom we have got the stress. So now we will take, have you understood this, what we have done over here? Is it fine or anything, any problem is there?